Good afternoon and welcome to hi-rez Studios. My name is Tom Battinger, and I'm joined here by a special guest. You might have recognized him if you joined us on last Wednesday's episode of The Caster. His name is John Finch, otherwise known as Young Link, and he'll be joining us as a special promotional guest here, showing us sort of the commentary behind The Caster. How's it going, bud?
I'm doing real good. How about you, Tom? Yeah.
Definitely happy to be here. Happy to have you on. So as I mentioned, John's still a contestant on The Caster. If you missed that, it's every Wednesday at 5 p.m. here on twitch.tv/hi-rez-TV, and it's basically a reality show, sort of fishing for who's got the casting chops. We only have a little bit of time to show you in the show how everybody casts, so we figured we'd ask John, since he lives kind of local, to come on down. So what can you tell us about your time on The Caster?
Well, it was a great experience being on The Caster. Honestly, it was. Getting to work with you all, getting to see all that extra talent. It was nerve-wracking. So, I mean, if you want to see us sweat, I definitely say watch those episodes. But it was a real cool experience.
And so your background as a commentator is?
Essentially nothing.
Yeah.
That's right, essentially nothing. You got to see my very first cast on the very first episode, so go check it out.
So this one's going to be a lot of fun. If that's sort of my background too, just sort of running through and cutting your teeth on the real stuff. So that's what we're going to do today with special guest John Finch. Today we have 3 SCL games for you, the inaugural day of our Smite console league. North America, Europe will come a little bit later. Today we're going to start the afternoon off with Astral Authority versus IMOM in memory of Michael. IMOM's the team that made it through relegations.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, Astral Authority sort of the big boys here, but IMOM, the ones that, were able to fight and get a spot here in the SCL.
Later on, we're going to take a look at Soar versus Strictly Business, another team that made it through rallies. So Strictly Business defended their spot. And we'll end the afternoon with Obey versus Elevate. Obey, sort of the sweethearts of the league.
That's right, yeah, the sort of the fan favorites. If you're more familiar with the SPL, kind of think like Bear and Jeff or from LG.
For sure, and we're going to see a lot of people playing very successfully today. But you can try and get some of that success at home as well. We're offering a fun promotion if you guys are playing at home. We're offering double of whatever it is when you're finding those wins. Favor, fantastic. That's Cupid on the screen, by the way. Aggro really likes when I mention all of the gods that are on the promos.
Oh, yeah. If you don't say that that's Cupid, I don't know how I would know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's lots of big-headed babies. So.
Little guy, big head, big bow, big bonus, 2 times favor. Absolutely what you want to look forward to towards this weekend. So get yourself playing and get that extra favor on the way. I have about 450,000 favor.
Yeah, I have a lot of favor. I kind of was able to spend it opening those chests for like the event that we're doing right now, but other than that, I'm just waiting on mastery skins, I guess.
I spend gems on my chests, man. I've been playing. I got my gems, so I just stack that favor. So something very exciting for us to see. I'm going to get double favor. I'll obviously play it and stream it. So looking towards this matchup, Astral Authority versus IMOM. We mentioned that Obey is sort of the sweethearts of the league, but Astral Authority, sort of the numero uno guys this time around. As we look towards picks and bans, I'll tell you one thing that I'm looking for. I'm looking for Wolves and KP, Chaotic Purpose, to really have some gods that can drive things home. So let's start things off hot. Picks and bans coming at you for Astral Authority versus In Memory of Michael right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you mentioned more Wolves right off the start here. I think that's a great purpose to pick up as Scotty gets locked in already here. Banned. Don't want to have that in my games. More Wolves is kind of the heart of this Astral Authority team, so I wouldn't be surprised if they pick up something real hard for him to carry on. What do you think about that as Odin gets banned out here too?
That's why we see the Odin ban. Wolves is absolutely, I mean, he's one of the best players on the console, full stop. Yeah. He's one of the best players in that solo lane, and he's known for this Odin. In the console world, Odin has been one of the most dominant characters in that solo lane, regardless of the meta. Just locking players into that cage, very important.
Yep, we see Thoth and Robin get banned out here as well. Robin, just a real monster coming out of the jungle, and Thoth dominates those mid lane matchups. So no surprise seeing those banned out here. But Ardio, surprisingly, still available at this point. What do you think Ardio's still going through?
We'll see how that one works out. But with Kronos locked in for Astral Authority, I like that. AA sort of abbreviated for Astral Authority, but also auto attack. So they're going to go for Kronos there. And then across the way, we're starting to see some other picks.
Yep, that's right. We got Kronos locked in here first for Astral Authority, and then Terra locked in, very likely going into that support position. Very strong over there. And Cucullin as well. So very tanky so far.
Tanky and control.
Oh, yeah.
Terra's going to be able to lock down a lot of players by way of root. Cucullin's going to push them out or even knock them up with that ultimate. So in memory of Michael, really looking for the opportunity to sort of disrupt the opposition.
Absolutely. Sun Wukong comes in as second pick here for Astral Authority. Now, we know Chronos can be a bit of a late-game powerhouse. Is that going to be harder for him with these two tanky picks as Amir comes in for Astral Authority as well?
Well, Chronos has the ability to really chew through these players. Physical defense is kind of easier to build, I think, than magical defense, so he'll be able to chew through them. Even once they build some of that magical defense, he's still hitting you for a ton with those basic attacks, so I think Chronos is going to look well next to Ymir.
Yep, Thor comes in here to sort of round out that first pick phase for or IMOM rather, going to round that out for him. Looks like Geb also getting banned here too. So a lot of focus, it looks like, from IMOM on like the tankier characters.
What's fun for me is seeing this Geb ban is that IMOM doesn't think that Ymir is going to go in the support role, and I have to agree. It's been a long time since we've seen Ymir at all, but it's been a longer time since we've seen Ymir in that support position. He's incredibly immobile, so that kind of lets him get stuck down. But if you stick him over there in the solo lane, he might be able to do some damage.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. There's so much damage Ymir brings out. Vulcan and Hell so far already banned out. Even Hu Yi looks like banned out here too. So a little bit more focus on the carry position from Astral Authority, but we do see Soul locked in here right away. We think mid lane maybe, or?
Yeah, that's likely to be in the mid lane for IMOM. We see Keji probably play one of the more traditional hunters. I think it's important noting that the two bans that come out from IMOM are targeted towards that support role. Geb and Hell. Again, Brochacho on this team, the leader, also one of the stronger players as well. But it looks like, as the other two characters are locked in, we might see that support Ymir.
Yep, that looks like that's just what it is because we got Sun Wukong locked in. They went ahead and got Nemesis and Kukulkan over here on Astral Authority, and then Jingwei rounded it out here for IMOM. Now, that Nemesis, is that going to be a problem here for IMOM in the late game, or what are we thinking?
I mean, absolutely. Nemesis does very well at countering some of those more tanky characters. You were asking about how well Chronos is going to do against the first two selections, Terra and Kukulkan. I'm looking at Nemesis, going to be able to cut them down as far as the health and the protections. And look at that. It's actually going to be Brochacho on the Monkey King. He'll be playing the Sun Wukong support, one of the more classic aggressive supports. And if you ask me who El Brochacho is, he's a classic aggressive support.
Yeah, I think that that's going to work out very well for them. Sun Wukong is able to bring a lot no matter what lane he's in. He's very versatile. I think that's why we see him picked up a whole lot here. Transonics, though, is going to be the one taking this Chronos over here into the traditional sort of ADC role. I think that's what we expected. And then we see that we got Delny over here in the Kukulkan. That's going to be a good matchup for him against that Amir solo.
I'm still looking at this Ymir, like you just mentioned. Wolves is a creative player that Wolves kind of plays what Wolves wants to play. We've seen him play this Ymir solo, and he can bring the pain. A lot of damage by way of that passive specifically. Just a lot of stuff that comes out of Ymir that I think a lot of players might not be ready for. Freeze into whatever Covey wants to do. And again, another oddball pick in the middle lane. I'm liking what Astral's bringing for game number 1.
Yeah, we're seeing IMOM here do some pretty interesting starts. It looks like they didn't go to the lane right away here on the solo lane side, and then we even see him over here trying to clear these buffs up against some strong pressure from Astral Authority.
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 players in Astral Authority in memory of Michael's jungle, so just trying to make everybody feel sort of off kilter, not get too comfortable. Transonics with a nice juke to avoid the stun out of inbound. And Brochacho going to come back to the wave. Notice how they don't hit the enemy gods, making sure that they're not going to take poke from that lane.
Yeah, I think that's smart. The most important thing, get back in there and try and establish position. Nice attempt there at the stun for Brochacho, but those walls kind of deter any aggression we might see from this side.
Yeah, not as quick as Transonics was to go ahead and avoid that nonsense, but over here on the left side, this is such an interesting lane. The Chronos Hunter and the Sun Wukong support. Very differing thoughts. Sun Wukong, very poke-oriented, and Chronos is just going to beat you up a little bit later, though.
Yeah, this feels a little bit like a kill lane over here in this left lane. Do you think they're going to struggle against the safe, Jingwei for Keji, and then as well as inbound on that Terra? You think they might struggle?
I think struggle is the wrong word for it. I think that when it comes down to is Brochacho and Transonics are going to look for every single micro opportunity. If you give them an inch, this team's going to take a mile. So I think that Brochacho and Transonics, they might not have a lot of opportunity to go for these guys, as you mentioned, very safe. But if there is, they're going to be in trouble.
I like what we're seeing here too. Chaotic Purpose is over here sort of in this solo lane, very likely trying to help more Wolves a little bit more over here, but that does leave Jumpa over here to sort of help out the Soul in the mid lane. So then they're just deciding where they want to have their advantage at early.
Nice and early here, the Oracle Vision is going to go by way of Chang'e and Inbound. And again, I want to bring up the Kukulkan pick for Astral Authority. When it comes down to objective secure, Astral Authority absolutely have the advantage. Not only are they going to bring a lot of early game just strong damage to the objective by way of tornadoes, but he also has a much easier time confirming that objective with the big Spirit of the Nine Winds, the ult, in comparison to Crimson, who his ult is a big deal, but it's really nothing compared to the Squiggly Worm.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. Now, take a look here at this Amir. He's going with the Mark of the Vanguard for a start item. Those warriors or physical solo laners, their start's a little more set in stone. Tell me a little bit about what Mark of the Vanguard is going to do for more wolves over there in the solo lane.
So I like this for two reasons. One of which is you have two options as a Guardian going, or a Guardian or a Mage going in here. You can either go Mark of the Vanguard, or you can go slightly more aggressive with respects to the Vamp Shroud if you're talking about physical protection. But Mark of the Vanguard is going to make all of the damage lessened by 5, and knowing that Delny on this Cucullin is going to have that mystical mail type effect with his seething rage, or what it's called, that's going to really limit that damage incoming.
All right, now right now we're here at about that 3-minute, 30-second mark. We're seeing Chaotic Purpose and more wolves on the solo lane side. Just based on our picks that we got here so far, God selections, where do you think that we're going to be seeing, or who do we think going to be the one that puts out the aggression first, or kind of makes the first move here in this match?
I can tell you without seeing picks and bans, it would be Astral Authority. Not only are they the more established team, but they're also that's what they look for. That's their play style. El Brochacho leading from the helm. He's going to look for aggressive plays. Chaotic Purpose nice and early. Once he's level 5, you can see him level 6 already. Gonna look to slow players down. This is a mid-game oriented team with Transonics in the late. Wolves, Covey, Brochacho, these are all characters that can do very, very well in the mid-game. They all just have to watch out for Jumpa on this floor, who can show up out of nowhere at all points in time.
Yeah, I want to say that you're right there too, because we see Covey going with that Warlock Sash. A lot of the times on Kukulkan in particular, you might see like some other items there. Do you think it's just because maybe he's a little worried about Jumpa's aggression? He's chosen Warlock Sash?
You know, I'm not so sure about that. Normally we do see the Thoth. Kukulkan works very well. His passive, mana, Thoth, mana. So it all just kind of, that's been the sort of go-to item since the beginning of time almost. But looking at that Warlock Sash, this is something that a lot of mid mages have gone a little bit safer. And yeah, I think that the idea of a less safe mage like Kukulkan, yeah, he might be a little bit afraid of Jumpa coming down, and more importantly, that Tectonic Rift.
Absolutely. I know you mentioned time there. I think that's probably just because we had Kronos here for time. Kronos, time.
Oh, you're going to fit in
Kronos.
Very well here. Absolutely.
Hey, well, Aggro's not here, so I got to try and bring it a little bit here for you. But we see him just clear enough over here. I think that so far things will look pretty even for us across the board here. So I think Astral Authority, like you said, is going to be open to try and establish some control here. Looks like Vision very likely going to go the way of In Memory of Michael, though, as they're the first ones to establish over here by the Oracles.
Yeah, I think the Vision does go the way
of
Astral Authority. No, you were correct. We have a little bit of a mishap up top. The teams are backwards, so we'll fix that in just a moment. But yeah, it's interesting. Astral Authority up by about 500 gold, almost 1,000 gold just by way of farm. And this is going to be Memory of Michael's chance to sort of turn that around.
Yeah, Jumpa comes in here and tries to get the wall up, but Transonics does a great job getting that stun out, preventing any more aggression, just kind of back off here at this point and just kind of get back to parity.
Yeah, as we looking towards the solo lane, I'm trying to figure out where this 1,000 gold lead comes from. It's at 1,200 now, and you've seen the Oracles be dominated by In Memory of Michael for the past 2 rotations. So you got to look towards these gremlins. These fire elementals are definitely been in Astral Authority's wheelhouse, and they really seem to enjoy this in the invade strategy. So I think that's a big part. Look at that control over Delny.
Yeah, great wall there by More Wolves, able to get really good poke off on him there. I did want to talk to you a little bit here. It seems like In Memory of Michael have established vision control on this left side of the map pretty heavily. I think we see a sentry, 2 regular wards over there. So they seem pretty invested in either keeping Chang'e safe, or is it maybe trying to get an early Gold Fury?
I think the Gold Fury might have something to do with it. Less about them getting the Gold Fury and more about making sure Astral doesn't go for it. As I mentioned, that Kukulkan very, very scary when it comes to objectives. And right here we see the reason why Astral Authority has been so successful so far. Their farm in the enemy jungle has been impeccable, and just another speed buff stolen. This blue buff going to go the way of AA as well. Easy peasy. There's almost no threat, but Delny certainly threatened here. 4 players in the lane.
Yeah, this is very scary for Delny here. There's a 4-man rotation over here. The ultimate does come out as he goes into that transform form. Big Kukulkan damage coming out, though, and that's going to be enough to send him into the ground.
Doesn't even need the wall. Wolves takes down the opposition with the ice carpet. And yeah, Covey and Wolves, these early game mages just gonna delete you real heavy. Nice avoidance of the time stop, but inbound does get hit by the Rift.
Yeah, I mean, so we talked a lot here about how this jungle here on the right-hand side is kind of just Astral Authorities now. That's their speed buff up there. I think that's a big part about why we saw an early kill. Transonics actually is under aggression from 3 members here. Nice stun coming out from inbound, but there really wasn't any follow-up from Crimson. The ultimate was available, maybe just didn't want to pull the trigger?
Yeah, just a little bit, I guess. Yeah, I can't really tell you why Crimson didn't go for that one. I think that would have been a kill, keeping a look on Transonics. He does have the ultimate available, so probably didn't want to get rewind baited, but all the while, everybody looking at Transonics. Right side tier 1 tower does go down. 3 players from Astral Authority go ahead and siege that one after the kill onto Delny, who's already lost it. So a little bit rough stuff for Memory of Michael on the right side of the map.
I got to agree with you. The right-hand side of the map, the top side's been kind of completely lost. I think that's why we saw Delny get 4-man rotated on, and he was that far pushed up. I mean, he really didn't know it was coming for him. So I think perhaps maybe try and put some pressure on this left-hand side of the map. Where else do we want to see a Memory of Michael sort of look here now that that tower is already gone?
I honestly, pretty much everywhere. You just need to come back into the game. It's 8 minutes in. You can see Astral Authority already with, what, a 2,500 gold lead? It's just, I mean, very simply put, oh, look at that, Xaxes. Just simply put, not very good, Finch.
Oh, yeah, that's actually what it says. It doesn't say 2,500 gold. It says not very good, slanting upward. So in Memory of Michael, going to have to try and stop the bleeding here somewhere on this map. I think that probably try and do somewhere in this mid lane, maybe with some help from Jumpa. That'd probably be a good look for him. But at this point here, all our builds looking pretty normal. Got the Gladiator Shield coming out from Brochacho. And don't be confused, that is our support Sun Wukong. We're seeing they're building just like he's in the solo lane.
Well, one of the things when you're going in aggressive support, keep in mind we saw the Sirduckbot support come out yesterday on or Saturday on the PC side of things from Energy, defending world champions. When you're going these aggressive supports, a big part of what they do is also bring the damage. Now, Sun Wukong has fantastic crowd control with the slow out of Master's Will, and of course the animals providing either a knockup or a stun. But your job as an aggressive support is also lowering the kill threshold. You're going to set your teammates up for the opportunity to go ahead and kill the opposition, but you also want to bring them even lower. So now inbound in trouble, already at 90%, the team has to do less work to bring them to 0.
Yeah, that's what's so strong here about having Sun Wukong there for him. Jumpa, though, up into the air with that ultimate. He's looking to crash down onto the backline. Not able to get too much out of it, but it's actually Brochacho who's in a lot of trouble quickly.
I loved what the solo lane did there. Delny controlled 3 separate players to make sure that his team could take care of El Brochacho before they got involved. But Covey with the big ultimate takes down inbound.
Yeah, Covey turned that team fight around with that huge ultimate. Now it's actually Crimson who's a little bit out of position, but Covey gets dropped by Jumpa. Good job turning it back around. This team fight's going every single direction. Now it's Chaotic Purpose who gets Crimson, as well as Delny goes back into the ground as well. So Chaotic Purpose having a big impact there.
Double kill for the jungle nemesis. Not a surprise to see KP put on the backpack. This guy has come a long way, Finch. We've seen him work really, really hard to be one of the go-to players for Astral Authority, and he certainly deserved it. Brochacho there kind of does what the support needs to do. He puts himself in the harm's way so that everybody can sort of lead in and start everything. Delny with a great job to sort of stop it and make it wait, but
you hate to cut you off. Transonics in a lot of trouble here, though. The rewind actually puts him back underneath the tower. He actually gets a big turnaround back on the Jumpa. So much damage already. Probably that Bancroft's talent doing it for him.
And this is why Astral Authority is so successful. Transonics knows just how long he needs to wait by himself. You're sitting there, and that looks like a miserable opportunity. You're saying, Trans, why are you so out of position? He knows that Brochacho is on the way with both crowd control by way of the knockup and, more importantly, perhaps, the shell. So the rewind extends his life for just a little bit. He gets some nice lifesteal by way of the Bancroft's talent, so he knows that he's just going to be safe just enough to allow his team to come through in the clutch. Astral Authority has succeeded on their fantastic teamwork and communication. Again, going back to that last team fight, Chaotic Purpose has the communication. Even if you guys fall, I can clean up. Just keep pushing.
Yeah, but that's so important coming out from Chaotic Purpose. I think it's one of the things he does the best. He controls the pace of the game. El Brochacho here trying to do a little bit of that from the solo lane, trying to Tiger stun Keji, but not able to get anything out of it. Jumpa, though, gets a nice stun and able to get a little bit of hammer damage, too.
Brochacho here in trouble now. I don't think he has the ultimate available just yet, so Covey drops. That's one of the nice things that not Sun Wukong, but the mid lane mage can do. He drops down that tornado, and all of a sudden, you can't walk through that area. You can't walk through that, otherwise you're in trouble.
Yeah, I want to ask you a little bit more about that fight, too, because despite being very low, Brochacho's positioning was still very aggressive. I think he might have been, just like you were saying, trying to get a bait, but we got another jump in from Jumpa. It's a good thing he missed that ultimate, because he would have got Kovi ultimate from Kokoka if he hadn't. He backs out now, maybe like 1 HP remaining. Good freeze coming out from more wolves just to try and deter the aggression, and everything backs off. Jumpa going back to base.
Yeah, Kovi using that ultimate in response. A lot of times when you see those characters that come from the sky, you're just going to drop the ultimate. Now, Kovi's does have a knockup, which would allow even more control, but you're right, Jumpa missed it. Pretty good for him.
Yeah,
otherwise, he probably would have been taken out.
We call that calculated. We call that calculated here. Speed buff, though, taken here, though, by Astral Authority. This aggression is going on really strongly here. More wolves in a lot of trouble. The Thorns trying to return some damage. Great wall from Amir. More wolves going to be able to saunter away now. Brochacho gets a strong stun into inbound, and they've turned this fight around. It is inbound who's gone back to base. Very well played from Wolves.
You want to talk about calculation.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Wolves knew exactly, and that was, so before we were talking about how Transonics got aggressive because he knew his teammate was coming there, Wolves knew just how much damage he could take.
Yeah, Transonics gets a nice bit of damage here. Kenji, though, able to use the ultimate to get out of danger, just trying to defend his red buff over here on the left side.
Not going to happen this time around. Wolves knew exactly how much damage he could take, activated that Thorns as well to give him a little bit of breathing room, and here's that gold trigger attempt we were talking about earlier. Kovi has the ultimate up one more time.
Yeah, Kobe might not even need to use it here, though. No one from a memory of Michael is around as Kobe does get the final bit of damage off to secure it. Jumpa even used the ultimate, I think, maybe to try and stop that Gold Fury, so that's a big swing in Astral Authority's favor.
Yeah, Jumpa's always going to use that one, see what's going on. Unfortunately, the wind-up time, he got up there a little bit too late. He missed Transonics. Now, the first shot, we said, all right, maybe he just didn't want to get hit by the Kobe ultimate. That time, you got to hit your Thor ults. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, that's something that I think we'll see better out of Jumpa here as we move on here. But right now, this game does feel very strongly in favor of Astral Authority. We see them climb up to about a 5 to 6K gold lead at this point. The experience lead, though, is also very devastating. Kovi 2 levels up here on Crimson right now. The real trouble, though, Chaotic Purpose 3 levels up on Jumpa.
Yeah, I mean, that's chaotic purposes. You said it before. He runs the pace of the game. Nobody's going to be allowed to do anything if Nemesis doesn't want them to do so. The timer in the enemy jungle, we saw Astral Authority just owning Memory of Michael's jungle. Without the Gold Fury, they're still up a slew of gold. And it's because of how well they've been able to farm not just their own territory, but the opposition's as well.
Yeah, Chaotic Purpose just has 2 speed buffs this game. I mean, that's really all there is to it. We can stop saying he's taking theirs. It's his now. Those Oracles, though, going the way of Transonics here. And I do want to talk a little bit more about him, because just as well as I think Chaotic Purpose is played, it seems like Transonics is all over the map this game.
Yeah, and this is early on. Wait for that Chronos to be even more effective later. Wolves dealing with 3 separate players in the console league. That's just what we've come accustomed to out of Mortality Wolves.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this, you know, in the picks and bans. Wolves is sort of the strongest player here of this team. I think that's probably fair to say, and we're seeing that from him here in this game. He's really able to bait out so many engagements, getting out tons of damage, because Amir does plenty of it. But right now, it looks like Astral Authority want to start this Portal Demon. Ultimate does come out, though, and in down gets deleted thanks to the Nemesis ultimate. Jumpa's up in the air, but I wouldn't come down if I were him, and he chooses to back off.
Yeah, that's a smart plan. Portal Demon easily in the hand of Astral Authorities. And again, it's just spectacular zoning coming out from Wolves. Yeah. He's at the point where Ymir's scary enough that if you get hit by the freeze, the carpet, and the basic attack, you're basically dead. So all he has to do is walk at you, and the threat of activation is scary enough.
Yeah, sometimes just walking at you as an Amir is enough to get beads out, but already Astral Authority trying to pull this Fire Giant. It looks like they might be trying to bait IMOM into a bad fight here, because they've already moved off of it. But Brochacho, though, down to half health. That could be trouble.
Yeah, he's stepping in that lava. Chacho not making the good moves right here. Delny could be in trouble. The star of relegation.
Big wall coming out, though, from Wolves. He's able to slip through, though, is Delny. Now Brochacho's a little too far forward and quickly gets blown up here by Jumpa with a little bit of help, though, from Crimson. Now it's IMOM. They're saying, we're going to take this fight, but Kobe ultimate goes through. Doesn't get very much damage from it. Good stun, though, coming out from inbound, but he's now the one that's sent into the ground. More Wolves, though, trying to dictate the pace of the backside of this fight as Jumpa takes out Kobe.
Chaotic Purpose lurking in the jungle. Maybe have waited a little bit too long. Transonics occupying the front line, now trying to deal damage. Still has the ultimate available, so if he gets in trouble, he can clean things up. That's what he does. KP with the kill.
Yeah, Jumpa tried to get the beads off there to go in for more damage, but Transonics is just too big right now. He also takes out Delny now, and he really ran the end of that fight, Transonics did.
You know, I got a little nervous there. I think Chaotic Purpose, or I thought Chaotic Purpose, waited in the wings a little bit too long. That's kind of what he was looking for, was use the ultimate, chow people down, what he did earlier to get that double, triple kill earlier on in the enemy jungle. We watched Brochacho go down, and I think you nailed it. He definitely was a little bit too far ahead, or was it that his team was too far behind? Depends on who you ask. But either way, too much of a gap between the support and the rest of the follow-up. So he goes down pretty quickly, and that was actually a really strong opportunity. As soon as Covey unleashes that ultimate, IMOM have the good fight. They don't have the threat of the mid lane mage coming through with the big burst, and they don't have the control of El Brochacho to worry about. Unfortunately for Memory of Michael, there's a solo in Ymir who perhaps brings more control than anybody else on the squad, and Transonics is level 17, level 18 in that team fight, just tearing through anybody that wants to threaten Covey. He's frontline by way of pure damage.
Yeah.
And that really is what changed the fight for Astral Authority, the fact that Transonics was just taking down the players in the front.
Yeah, and More Wolves is doing that almost just off his base damage. He really only has damaged boots right now too. So that's, you know, his lead, and then just also like the base numbers there on Amir's kit. But at this point in the game here, though, our lead is kind of ballooned up to 8k gold now in favor of Astral Authority, right around that mark. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them start up that Fire Giant dance one more time. Again, though, Brochacho taking all that damage for the Fire Giant was a big part of why that fight went so bad. But Jumpa diving in here now. Great wall, though, to isolate Transonics. He's actually going to be able to get out of there with a bit of CC immunity, and because of the rotation from Brochacho, IMOM backs off.
Look how aggressive they're being. 2 versus 3. No care in the world. Transonics half HP does have his rewind available, but again, it's all about the communication. They know the rest of the squad is here in the jungle.
Yeah, IMOM have a bit of potential to pull off a pincer maneuver here as they're coming in through that jungle. Big knockup from Delny. Covey drops the ultimate, but not able to get any damage out of it. Transonics gets his ultimate also. He's in the back end of the fight now, surrounded by 4 members. He gets deleted, and that was just a bad back time from Transonics. Kind of damned if he didn't, damned if he doesn't.
Exactly what Memory of Michael needs to do. They need to split these players up. They need to make sure that Transonics is on the other side of everything, especially post-rewind, so that they can take care of him. Wolves and Chaotic Purpose are characters that, sure, they bring a lot of damage themselves, but KP is looking to clean up, and Wolves is looking to set up. With Covey using the ultimate so early, often, and unfortunately inaccurately, Memory of Michael are really able to capitalize. Need this Gold Fury to tie things up.
Yeah, this could be really huge for them. 2-man freeze coming out from More Wolves. That Ice Carpet able to get a bunch of damage too. Jumpa now up in the air. Wait for him to come down. This could very much determine the pace of this fight. Keji getting tons of damage on Brochacho, and it's in the back line. Onto More Wolves. Maybe the wrong target as Keji cleans up Brochacho. Jumpa able to get out though. He's going to be safe for now, but it's Crimson under a lot of pressure here from Chaotic Purpose. Keji comes over the top of the fight with his ultimate as well. Covey maybe trying to follow up, but not able to get any damage. But a great wall! More Wolves have been killing it with these walls. Isolates inbound, but he's able to dash back out once again.
Memory of Michael can come back in here. Players are low, but Delny by himself is not the way to do it. Jumpa is here. The dash away from KP is good enough to take down Jumpa. Keji a little bit too afraid to come on in there. Memory of Michael, I understand that they can't play timid. You can't play afraid there. Everybody on Astral Authority was at about 20% HP. There were 3 separate individuals that could have been taken down. Hindsight's 2020. Transonics now looking to cut down these guys.
Yes.
Not going to happen.
Such a difficult fight that we just saw for IMOM. But I love where we're seeing Transonics. That was 2 members, and he was walking up into him. A third was coming. He's so big at this point. Level 19, I believe, highest level in the game. And he knows that he's a monster right now.
I mean, he had the full HP compared to everybody else who hadn't backed just yet. You can see the lifesteal being built on Keji. So he is able to sort of sustain himself outside of these fights. And that's really what I wanted to see. I think that Memory of Michael could have made the play. And that might have been, when they go back and watch this VOD, John, I think that might be the moment that they sort of kick themselves for. AA is leading by 7,000. That might have been the spot to really cut that down to 4K.
Yeah, this Gold Fury looks like it's going to be uncontested. In fact, Brochacho and Chaotic Purpose putting tons of pressure onto Keji, and he's going to drop essentially for free, and that Amir ultimate should confirm the Gold Fury.
Yeah, it's the second Gold Fury for Astral Authority. A ton of gold coming by way of the objectives, and we're going across the street. Astral Authority looking directly towards either most likely the Portal Demon first, and then look for the fight after the fact before they touch Fire Guy.
Yeah, what a great call here from them, too. They're the ones in the driver's seat, so they're the ones determining the pace. Jumpa, though, up in the air from the back line. He's going to look to crash in right at the back line. Actually, a two-man stun, but I think Kovi's ultimate, yes, does secure the Portal Demon. Not much damage coming out of it, though, as it's inbound, isolated again by the wall for more Wolves. He's doing an amazing job controlling the pace of the battlefield.
That's the wonderful thing about having the Ymir available to your team. Of course, you do have the downside. Ymir can't really get away from anybody.
Yeah.
But you really can't get away from Ymir either. So if he gets ahead like this, he becomes so devastating. The damage means so much more if he gets ahead. And that wall, you're just sort of stuck.
Yeah, Delny getting caught out here by Transonics. That ultimate, though, was good to knock him up and force out the ultimate. Fire Giant already down to half health. And remember, Jumpa does not have his ultimate available for this engagement. Amir ultimate, though, does come through and confirm the objective, though, as Astral Authority continue to push in on the gas.
And there's going to be Jumpa with the first kill of the conversation. Chaotic Purpose goes down. Double knockup out of the Hunter. This looks like a good time to back off for Astral Authority. They got what they came for, but they're still playing aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think Astral Authority is back since they got that Gold Fury. They've kind of done all this in one big swing, though. Keji actually aggressively ultimates to try and get damage through. Now he's going to be dropping into no man's land. Good knockup, though, and I think that's going to get him out. Now it's inbound, the one that's taking tons of damage. Elbro Chancho trying to use his ultimate, maybe to take a little bit of the tower. Once again, though, Kobe struggling to hit anyone with that ultimate, but it's okay. Transonic rains in the damage on the Crimson. Now it's Delny here that's the lowest health bar for In Memory of Michael. Jumpa lands in. That ultimate is back here now. 4 health bars very low, but Delny's the one who gets taken out.
Just too strong is Astral Authority. Another good wall, putting players from Memory of Michael on the right side of the lane. Chacho going to get knocked up here. Transonics taking the tower, taking the bad guys as well. Does not have the ultimate available, but he don't need it, John. Take it down, Jumpa.
Yeah, Transonics is blowing up memories of In Memory of Michael right now. He is a nuisance. I don't think nearly as much of a nuisance, though, as More Wolves has been with those walls. It's one of Amir's, I think, understated abilities. I can just change the geometry of the map, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, players, going back again to the PC world, Energy brought Ymir out after not seeing the character for a while at Worlds, and we actually saw a support player that was playing it max out that wall. Let's ride along with Mortality Wolves and see where he's at. He's level 17, so he's probably actually past this point of conversation. But as far as his individual abilities are concerned, you're usually going to max out that Ice Carpet for the ability to clear the wave. And yeah, we can see that his wall wasn't maxed. It was the Ice Carpet into the freeze, which is normally what you see. Big damage, big stun. But now towards the later parts of the game, that wall lasts forever. In the beginning, sometimes it's just a stutter step and the guy will walk on through it. Now, you're really starting to be able to just change everything and really make the enemy think.
Yeah, and in favor, and to give credit to In Memory of Michael, they've done a really good job immediately, like, turning around and trying to find another way out. But the walls are positioned so perfectly, they can only go back into more damage. So I think More Wolves is doing an excellent job here with it so far. But very likely, I got to think that Chaotic Purpose and Transonics are the real stars of this game here so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's generally how this one goes. You see Transonics and KP with just so much damage. Kovi, however, sitting there in the middle, has not been able to really find a target for his ultimate outside of objectives, which is not great, but at least he's getting those objectives.
Inbound might be caught out here, though. Ultimate from Chaotic Purpose does come out after a strong freeze, and that sends Inbound into the ground. Now it's a 5v4, and the Fire Giant Astral Authority can start taking some towers.
Left side is where they're going to put their focus. Kovi and Berchacho still do have that buff. It's Chaotic Purpose and Transonics that lost it. Perhaps the two that you want to have it the most, but either way, Tier 2 tower does crumble.
That's right. Now, Astral Authority has taken the Tier 2 tower on the left, mid lane, and right lane. Tier 2 tower do stand, but perhaps not for long, as all 5 members here start swinging away at that Tier 2 tower. In Memory of Michael, should they try and defend on the Phoenixes or give up on these Tier 2 towers?
Phoenixes, absolutely, especially when you start thinking about that Ymir presence and how he's just going to be able to lock you out of that Tier 2. One, there's a difference in HP. You have more time defending under the Phoenix. It's got 500 more HP than these Tier 2 towers, so that's something to think about. And also, it's a tighter area, which actually doesn't bode well for In Memory of Michael theoretically when it comes down to tornadoes and wolves' wall. It's kind of smaller areas are nicer for Astral Authority, but more importantly, In Memory of Michael defending on the Phoenix, they've less time to go back to that fountain to heal up, and they're able to really just corral the players into more damage.
Transsonic's already taking out 70% of Keji's health here with that stun
Big
into
beads.
the time stop damage here. Beads are able to let him get away from Inbound, but Inbound actually used the ultimate, maybe just more of a get out button, but no, Jumpa's up into the air, I believe, with that Thor ultimate, so maybe they want to keep it going.
Yeah, Jumpa right here, he's not going to use that ult just yet. That was what Inbound wanted, though.
Yeah.
Inbound hit that ultimate, and Inbound saw the opportunity, which was an opportunity if his team was grouped up. Unfortunately for IMOM and their fans, that was not the case. They were a little bit too spread out, so because of that one, Gold's Fury goes down to Astral Authority, just extending their lead even more so.
Yeah, at this point, the gold lead is it's almost insurmountable for In Memory of Michael. Never want to call the game over, though. Strong Phoenix defenses can help turn things around. But, I mean, Transsonic's, he's at full build. I think he just finished off the Ob Shard just now, the Obsidian Shard. So he's going to be, if we thought he was swinging before, he's definitely going to be swinging now.
I love this build coming out from Transonic. You see some players try to sort of pigeonhole attack speed or whatnot. Now, he does have the hastened Fatalis ring, as I like to call it. And this is going to give him the ability to just, ride him cowboy like we're used to seeing. But everything else is all about just the pure mage damage. That, in my opinion, is one of the better ways to build Chronos because you're able to swing at those basics, but you're also very threatening by way of your spells.
Yeah, more Wolves able to zone off 3 members of In Memory of Michael.
Wall.
No one else able to come in and try and contest it. So that Fire Giant does go down for free in favor of Astral Authority. And I think we're going to see them group up here and try and take down, very likely, maybe this mid lane Phoenix. That's where they're grouping.
Yeah, we see the push up here, and looks like mid will be the focus. Wolves and Covey just sort of leading the way here. They've got a ton of wave clear between those two players. KP doing his own thing, not a surprise.
All right, Tom, what does In Memory of Michael have to do to try and stop this push? Who's going to be the hero of this team fight before it breaks out?
They need to find a stop, and it's going to be all about Jumpa. Take it to the sky right this time around, but Covey finally hits an ultimate.
Yeah, we finally get a bunch of damage from Covey here in the middle of that team fight. Already, though, Transonics is the one who's gone out. So if In Memory of Michael's going to win, this is going to be now. It looks like actually Chaotic Purpose is the one that's a little too far forward. Inbound stuns him out, but no one else wants to follow up with damage. I think they're happy just to defend this Phoenix.
25% already to the bird, and they've got to be a little bit more careful now that Transonics is down here, but still the mages are piling in damage by way of basic attacks. Mortality Wolves goes ahead and gets in trouble, and there's KP doing his own thing, as I mentioned, on the right side Phoenix.
I love that. Chaotic Purpose recognizes that everyone's defending mid lane, and he rotates over to the right, though. Now it's Delney using his ultimate. Jumpa crashes in onto Covey, not getting too much damage, but does get the freeze out of more Wolves. You don't have to worry about that for a few more seconds. Is able to stun 2 people, but now Keji's too far forward. I don't know what happened here, but he's on his way back to that red fountain.
Fight on the flag.
Yeah.
Every game you've ever played tells you to fight on the flag. Keji pushes up too far, trains himself out, and what would have been a retreat for Astral Authority turns into another aggression. Down goes the mid lane Phoenix.
Yeah, and that is just too bad here as now Elbro, Chacho, and Wolves are the ones getting hit by a great ultimate there from Crimson. Once again, though, Jumpa is up into the air, looking to come down onto Covey. He's actually able to get the stun off. Great wall to isolate him, but he gets immediately turned and burned by Chaotic Purpose.
Team just too separated. In Memory of Michael just traded themselves out one by one, which is very bad. 49 seconds on Delney, 40 seconds on Jumpa as well. Looking at the respawn timers here, this could be the end.
Yeah, and that's really just too bad here. In Memory of Michael had a great chance, I believe, to try and get a tower defense. We saw poor positioning from Keji, though, and then when we saw that, I think it was Jumpa go in for that ultimate, just couldn't get anything out of it. They burned him immediately. So it looks like right now Astral Authority going in. It's probably all over here but the singing, as it's 5 members here pumping into that Titan room.
Yeah, this one's easy. All the defensive posture from IMOM already down for the count, unable to really make a count after the fact. So that one goes the way of Astral Authority.
Yeah, and that was really an impressive game. Throughout it, I think you heard me saying, well, Transonics is the star, or maybe more Wolves is the star. What that really says is that Astral Authority is the star. If every one of your members can be the star at the end, that means you just played well as a team.
Yeah, nice handoffs throughout, whether it was Chaotic Purpose coming through and cleaning up, Wolves really starting things, and then Transonics just Give him the ball late. That's kind of what this team does. Is Transonics just sits there. We watch him play some of the late game gods, and he sits there while KP does all the dirty work in the mid game.
Yeah, Chaotic Purpose was such a nuisance in this game, either going into the backline, using that shield to prevent any kind of damage, or like we saw split pushing at the Phoenixes when he realized where the focus was. So he and more Wolves were doing an excellent job of just determining where the fighting was happening.
Well, a lot of the nice thing that I liked out of Chaotic Purpose, especially when it comes down to the split push, was that he went a crit penetration build so that he's able to go ahead and split push, and if anybody comes and asks him a question, he's just going to solo them down by way of the critical strike. You saw him building that Wind Demon, allowing his basic attacks to just go up and up and up, and that's what allowed him to take out the Phoenix on the right side. But you started off the conversation talking about Transonics.
Oh yeah, Transonics was an absolute monster this game. We saw him deleting characters, just one rotation of skills, had Kevy down to 20% health at one point. He was a monster this game.
Yeah, and as I said, I mean, the mid laner wasn't always landing his stuff. So it was up to Transonics to provide that. Without the burst damage coming out from the mage, it's up to Transonics in the hunter position to provide the sustained DPS.
Yeah, and that's such an excellent point that you're making there, Tom. Covey actually is in a position where if he doesn't always get the most out of that ultimate, because of just how well Transonics is playing and how much he's chunking, it actually doesn't hurt their team too bad. So, I mean, I think that's a great point that you made just there. I think that putting 2 magic damages on those carries you trust means as long as one wins, we're going to be all right.
Covey made himself known when it came to the objective securing not just a couple of gold furies, but also a portal demon by way of his ultimate in times where it could have been stolen. Jumpa was in the air, but that Spirit of the Nine Winds comes down. Either we're getting gold fury, we're taking Jumpa, or we're getting both. So that deterrent and that objective secure, very important for the Kukulkan.
Yeah, well now...